This is Hassan Rahmani. Today is 30th of June 2018. I'm going to interview Mohsen Kiani. He was born in Iran in Shiraz in 1970. He moved to Birmingham in 2000. Can you tell us about the place you born?
Yeah, born in Shiraz. Shiraz used to be a capital city of Persian Empire, and after even just during the Islamic time, it has been a capital of Persia and Iran for many centuries as well. And it's very rich in case of culture and art, and still we have lots of legacy of the past, and so many authors, so many poets, so many just great artists actually from Shiraz.
Can you tell us about your family history?
Yeah, born in Shiraz, and I was 9 years old when my father passed away. And obviously, same as any other family, my mom, she wanted me just to go for education, and she wanted me to be a doctor, or to go to medicine course, or to be an engineer. And but she didn't know much about art. But my best subject all the time was art and paintings. And the only person from my family who supported me was my father, because I remember even just I was so young when he passed away. But he always used to encourage me, and he asked me to write like my homework with different color. I just remember I had a box of markers, and he just encouraged me to decorate them, to put the flower, or just when I finished my homework to do a paintings. And I think maybe it was the beginning of maybe just art for myself, and just the way I started. But unfortunately, he passed away, and after that, I carried on doing art painting. And then when I was teenager, I went to when I finished my middle school, because we in Iran we have two different system. Rather than just from primary school to high school, we used to have middle school as well for 3 years after primary school. When I finished that, then it was a time when I went to do my high school, and I was in like board school there. And because I had to be there day and night and all the time, just staying there. And obviously we had some great like teachers, and there were lots of great artists who supported us, some very popular and famous author. They just used to come and teach us, and we had lots of time. And but when I started my higher school, I was only 13, 14 years old. But it was the time when, I mean, Iran was in war with Iraq, and we had, as a teenager, we had to go to war and to participate, just as a soldier in front line as well. And it was time for me as well, and with so many of my classmates, we used to go to war and come back to do education, like 2 months, 3 months there in front line, then come back, then go there, then come back. And it was a time I just got really injured, and I lost so many my best friend as well during the war. And then when I finished my higher school, then I wanted to go to do like medicine course, and my family wanted. But when I started there, then I realized I really it's not for me, because I had so bad memory of the war, and like lots of bloodshed and all battlefield and everything. And just because I thought it's too much to remember all those things, and I left it, and I went without actually telling my family, and started to go to art university to do fine art. And then I finished my master's degree in fine art in Iran. I mean, in Isfahan and Tehran. I did my first degree in Isfahan, University of Art in Isfahan, and then Art University in Tehran. It's called Tarbiyat Modarres, I think, is in Tehran. And just I finished my master's degree. Then I decided to do my PhD. Then I came to this country, and then since that I've been living here.
What's your earliest childhood memories?
I've got, obviously, as a child, we're all full of story and history and everything there because lots of memories about the past. But for me, because I was born in 1970 and the Islamic Revolution happened in 1979, and I don't remember much about the, just before Islamic Revolution, anything when it was monarchies and all the kings and all those things. I don't remember much. Only a few maybe movies, and cartoons I remember I've watched when I was a child. But otherwise, I don't really remember much about it. But I mean, the war may be one of the things I just never forget because we just got involved. I mean, in whole country was in the war zone and lots of bombardment in the cities and missiles coming every night, and then you go to front line, and you're just fighting there as well. And I think my childhood really just occupied by all those memory of the war, and every like week they just bring the like a dead body for formal funeral in the cities, and lots of people there for funeral, and all this occupied by those really memories.
How did you feel when it was war going on that moment?
Yeah, obviously I still remember all those horrifying memory of the war, being frontline, because like particularly for me, because I was in a school with lots of mates, classmates, and day and night we were together playing footballs and just going to classroom and doing all our lesson together, and suddenly you go there in front line, and then in just like in your hand they dying, and I couldn't do anything for them. And just I never ever forget, even right now when I'm thinking of them, still I feel really sorry. And then I survived, but unfortunately so many other people didn't survive, and it was maybe one of the horrifying thing for me still, just if I just want to go back and to think about it. And yeah, just like from family members, like cousins, and because most of the family they lost somebody, is either like a brother, sister, father, or just like cousins or friend in the family. And obviously I'm not exception from that as well, because I lost some close relative and lots of very very good friends which we grow up together, and then we went there in war, and then I lost them. That kind of memory is always with me, and I just never forget them.
What was family life like as a child?
I mean, because I grew up in a different culture, obviously Middle Eastern and Western culture are very very different. And then I'm not sure about the Eastern culture about like China or Far East. I don't have any just understanding of them, but because I have experience just living here nearly 20 years, and then also just born in Iran and grow up there, and then I can compare two different, I mean, this Western culture and Middle Eastern, because there in Iran we have like the family are very very close. They are just all very emotional, very strongly connected. Anything happen in the family, they're all supporting, and you don't call or you don't ask for the just time or just to go to visit somebody. You just anytime you feel it, you just go there, or somebody maybe knock your door and coming as a family, and just going there and to host somebody's, also as many, sometimes even 30-40 people just coming. You have to prepare. And even just we like here we don't have only like 2-bedroom house or 3-bedroom. Normal the houses are very big, and we have all the like folding like metros, and we all just prepare even just for 20-30 guests, or even dishes. Everything is not only just doing for yourself, you only always thinking of you may actually receive lots of visitors, and it can happen anytime. And just I grow up there with that very very emotional connection with all the relative and friends and family. And obviously when you come here, and then so individualistic and everything, and even just like even brothers, they don't see each other for many years, or mom and like sons or daughters, and just the family is not really that much connected as we did really and used to be in Iran. I think
can you tell us about your school?
Yeah, in primary school, I used to like 5 years. I was in primary school, and in the middle of that, obviously, when I was in year 3, I think I lost my father, and it was a big, massive shock for me because it just disturbed, because of my loss, and I was the only person in my classroom who has no like father or just, and that is really affected me. But I tried to recover and just to go for it, and after that I went just to middle school for 3 years and then high school. But all the time I was maybe I wasn't the best in the school, but if it's a like top 3 top 4, I was always on the top 3 4. And particularly in art, I was always the best, not just in a school, but also in the lots of competition in area. Then you go in the cities, then even for the countries you go there as well, and you just win like some prizes and just encouragement. And maybe one of the reason was, and then when I went to university again, I was like a student in year 2, and it was the open exhibition in Tehran Contemporary Museum of Art, and everybody submitted, even all our master and everybody, just they wanted to get there, and only a few people they were accepted. But one of my piece, just was in Contemporary Museum of Tehran, and that as a just a student, I was so encouraged to carry it and to do it. And after that, still just keep producing like artwork, and I also used to write a story, like short story for the newspaper and magazine, and I won so many prizes of those short stories as well when I came here, because obviously English wasn't my first language. I found it a bit difficult, but still I published a couple of stories in like local magazine. Was in Mosley. I managed to publish a few story there, and then obviously when I started my PhD, then I just shifted from those stories to write theses and to write books as well, and lots of paper article for different conference or seminars or just a symposium. And then I managed to publish, my book just called Baluchistan, the Art, Craft and Architecture, and is published by Oxford University Press as well. And that was for me because I wanted always to carry on what I was doing there, and was big achievement for me just to do that.
Can you tell us more about your teachers, friends, and subjects, please?
Yeah, my teachers, obviously, I still remember all of them. All my teachers, I remember them by names, every single one. But obviously, a few of them, you get more like connected with them, because it's just particularly one of them who pushed me just to go for teacher training. And because when I finished, my high school, and then I start actually doing teacher training, then I became a teacher for primary school. He was the guy who just really just support me, just push me, said go there, because if you go for a teacher training, at least you have a job, like safe job, then you can go for university to do your degree as well. Because if you finish high school in Iran, you could do teacher training and become a teacher for primary. And I remember him very well. And then obviously in high school I had a few teachers as well, which still I have connection with them in like WhatsApp and Facebook, and we just keep messaging each other, and I never actually forget them, because they have a huge impact on what I'm really if I've achieved anything. I just really think they really they played very, very strong role for me, and they supported me, and I always will be appreciated and will be thankful to them as well.
Can you tell us more about your friends as well, please?
The same thing, because I'm a kind of person, if I really just maybe have not lots of friends, but if I'm become a friend with anybody, I try to keep it as long as possible. And I've like some of the classmates or some of the friends from my childhood time, still I have connection with them. Whenever I go to Iran, I go to visit them, or they come in to visit me. in like primary school, in middle school, in high school, and also from just the place I used to live in my street. I've got some friends, just and I still kept my connection with them. And here again, the same thing. I have a few family friends. We're always visiting each other every, just 2 3 weeks. We just go to each other's house, and I just always keep that connection.
Can you tell us about your university experience in Iran?
I mean, I just sometimes it makes me laugh. Sometimes it makes me, really just thinking about it, because when I was in Shiraz, one of the most beautiful city of Iran. One of them, really. If you want to mention a few of them, Shiraz would be definitely one of them. Because I grew up in Shiraz, and then I was only 18, 19 years old when I wanted to go to university, and I had admission to go to Tehran University. And at that time, it was really, really difficult, because it's just not many, really. Just for all Iran, maybe only a few hundred students they wanted for art, all different subjects. And in art, like fine art, only maybe they needed like not less than 20, 30 students, and you have to be on the top of those to get admission to go there. And I've done everything. Then I went from Shiraz to Tehran, and I just went by coach. When I arrived there, and then I saw Tehran, it was the first time I went there, and I was, oh my God, it was very polluted city, very busy, and it was, I think it was late August or early September when I went there, and it was so hot and so badly, and and all my eyes was on tear, because it's just the carbonate or dioxide, carbonate, and lots of pollution, and I really hated. I just wanted to come back to Shiraz. And when I started, I was just all the time was looking for some excuses not to, just because I didn't want to lose my chance, but at the same time I really didn't want to stay there. And I remember it was like 1.5 months I was in Tehran, and every single day I used to go there to ask, just the university like reception, and this is the head of that department in my department, fine art department, and I asked them if it's possible I go to Isfahan, at least it's better city. But at the end of the day, they say okay. The first thing they say no, and then after that they keep saying no, and then after that they just I don't know, or just they call somebody in like Ministry of Education or the department there. They say, okay, because you're coming from the top level to lower level is possible. You can go there. Then I was so happy. Then I went to Isfahan and to finish my first degree in Isfahan, and I was there for 4 years. Then when again you have to go through all those exams to get admission to go to do your master degree. But again, because only the place you could go was Tehran. And then by the time, because I just grew up and I was 25, 26 years when I went to Tehran to do my master degree, then I just could bear it slightly, but yeah, it was quite funny for me.
Do you have any specific memory from university?
In university, when I was in Isfahan, obviously Isfahan is again another beautiful, nice cities, and used to be a big, massive river going through the cities, and lots of beautiful historic bridges as well. But unfortunately, right now, I think the water dried out as well. But that time was one of the best time I had ever, because in Isfahan is not far from Shiraz, only like 5 6 hours. I could go every week to my own city and come back to do my education. And I had just a few friends there. We always, just together, like 4 of us together from different parts of Iran. And I still kept my connection with them, because really we lived as a brother. We just share everything, even our clothes and money, everything. And obviously my first child born when I started my university, and I just never forget that, because this is, my family were still living in Iran, my wife with my mother, and obviously I had my first child, and I had to go every week to come back. But at the same time, I was working as a teacher as well. 2 days I had to go to teach, and to get, to be able to get my teaching salaries, and also just carry on doing my study in university. But lots of nice, good memory. And I say during the university, I won a few prizes as well in art, and everything just got together to keep me, really going and encourage me to carry on my education, to go and to aim for real, just like higher level every single time. When you just achieve something, you want to do even better and better.
Why did you decide to move to Birmingham and leave Iran?
I wanted to do, when I just finished my master degree there, I just became a lecturer in university, and it was one private university in Shiraz called Sura University. It was like semi-private government, and private, something, mixture of both of them. Then I became a lecturer, but I wanted to do, for me, the master degree wasn't good enough. I wanted to do my PhD. In Iran, we didn't have, the subject I wanted to do it. We didn't have any university to provide that, just course for me. Then I had admission from Leicester University, and when I came here, obviously, I thought I can't do it in like 2-3 years, but it took me like more than like nearly 2 years for my English. I remember I used to go to 3 colleges every single day just to get, to learn English, and then after that, just to be able to go. But I didn't want, when I just came here, I went to London first, and I was there for like for nearly 2 months. But I didn't like it, just London again. It reminded me all the memories, bad memories of Tehran. It's a very busy city, crowded, and lots of traffic. And then I just thought, oh no, not London, it's not my city. Then I had to go to different. And I just tried, like Coventry, Manchester, Sheffield. I've been in so many cities, but I don't know, when I just came to Birmingham, and I thought, look like a tribal people, or like gypsies. When you get there and say, oh, that is the land, I'm gonna settle here. For some reason, I really liked Birmingham, because it's just probably more multicultural, and is not really crowded, and not really high-raised towers and all block tower, not many, and then I just really liked it, and just I decided to stay in Birmingham. Then from Leicester, I didn't go actually to do my course in Leicester, and I decided to come here, and I did my PhD in Birmingham City University.
How did you feel about leaving
Iran? But
Yes.
obviously is difficult when you're shifting from one culture to other, and I found it so challenging at the beginning, because everything is so different. I remember, as an artist, because it's so difficult for me, because even I couldn't, just buy or to find any art material, to meet any artist. When I just came here, obviously, it was lots of language barriers and lots of cultural barriers and so many different things. And then also, I just was wondering, oh, do they have, any other artists living in this city, or where can I go and to buy my art? I was really so passionate about my own, art. I wanted to do something. I remember I used to live in Erdington, and I couldn't do anything. And I went there, and it was one WHS made, which is not really, they don't provide any professional art material. Then I found out some, like basic, like acrylics, and pastels, like acrylic and all those things. And I bought something, and then when I just got home, I couldn't buy any canvas anywhere. And then I started to do painting on the back of wallpaper. I just started doing this. I couldn't know, I didn't know where to buy and how to buy it. And it was just, I just done some paintings on the wallpaper. And then it was just, I don't know how many months after that, it was just one event in a private park in Mosley Park. Then I went there. A friend of mine who just, normally with a few of my friends, normally we get, together for English classes to go somewhere. And they told me, one of their friends, they invited them to go to that park. And I went there as well. And because I think every year only just open it to public once. And this is beautiful, nice lake in the middle. And it was so beautiful anyway. Then I went there and I was lying down on grasses, and somebody told me, "Oh, don't move! Somebody using you as a model for his painting." And then I just stayed, solid there. When I just after some time they said, "Oh, it's finished." The artist came and said, "Oh, thank you to you." And then I said, "Oh, you are artist. At least I met somebody." And she was doing, just like artwork with dry pastels and I saw it, and then we became a friend. And so I'm an artist as well, but I really want to meet some artists. Then she introduced me to the RBSA gallery, and we went there. And I said, if you want to join us, you have to apply for membership. And it was for me a greatest thing to do that, to be accepted in there, and then it was, I think, a few months after that. It was a few artists. It was, I think, a builder. He hired a few, houses in Newton. I think it was just in Newton. They wanted to demolish it. He asked them if they can use it for the artists to display their artwork, to just convert that like to an open art gallery, and then they can demolish it. It was, I think, city council's houses. And then so many artists got together, and I went there as well. And I remember I was late as well, but they just said, okay, you can come and pick one of the rooms and use your, just display your art there, with the same friend who I was introduced to. And we went together, and I displayed like 7-8 pieces of painting, which I did on the back of the wallpaper. And it's a nice memory I had there. Somebody came, and then they saw that, oh my God, he loved them. And then he just calculate all the prices and then give me a check and say, I want to buy them all. And it was a big encouragement just to start with. And later on, obviously, I just wanted to carry on to achieving, more and more. Obviously, now I've just done, I remember when the first time I went to Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery, and I loved, because when I was in Iran, in all the education I had, lots of reading a lot about the history of art in Western country, or in, like Greece, Roman, or all the school of art in France, in England, in all over the world, particularly the Western country. Then you have lots of pieces from famous artists in Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery. I used to go every day, almost every couple of days. If I had nothing to do, the first thing I would do, I'll go to Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery to see all those beautiful, nice pieces. And then I was thinking, oh my God, is it possible one day I had my painting displayed there as well, exhibit there as well? And then keep going, and then I had to solo show there after that. And now, I've done more than like 70 international exhibition, keep going and exhibiting in different countries and different places.
How did you feel when you arrived in the UK?
Obviously, wherever you go, you have that cultural shock. Because for me, for the first time, I'm just coming to a Western country. Obviously, I went there to other countries beforehand, but when I was a student, but it's different because like Turkey and Iran is not really much different, or Arabic countries by the Persian Gulf, they all really similar, like culture we have. But when I came here, obviously it was, I think, in November, and it was cold and snow, and then it was just dark, and for me it was, just a shock really, and particularly the language barrier as well. And I never forget, when we were in London during that time with some friend of mine, 3 of us, we went together, and because you go, just you have to travel by train or in tube, London tube. You go there, and we were underground, and then we just say a friend of mine, because suddenly, like they announced something in English, and we didn't understand anything, and everybody got off, and he said, well, what we can do, now they have to change, or you have to change your platform to go somewhere else. And we didn't know what to do. We all the time we just look like somebody who doesn't understand anything, even a word of English, and then nobody's to help you. And I remember one time a friend of mine, two of us, we got off, but the third one, he just forgot to, and he was on train, and train gone, and he was just, shouting, what can I do? And he said, they rely on me as well. And then I remember that, it was just horrifying, really, just because it didn't know anything and any language, nobody's help, no any support. Even it wasn't the time like right now. You have dictionary, you have mobile phone, you can get anything, internet. That time it wasn't. It was just only like very very basic, mobile phone. You couldn't do it. I mean, when no signal, you look at the phone and say, what's happening to our phone? Is not working. And we ask somebody and say, because you are 100 meter underground, it's not working, no signal here. And I remember, lots of, struggling for the food, struggling for the, because we didn't know, like bank holiday everywhere would be closed, or during the Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, all the shops were closed. We didn't prepare for anything. I remember 2-3 days we didn't have anything just to eat. We just go there, and we didn't know, Birmingham. We just had lots of like a challenging time for just to provide, or to buy foods, or to buy, so many things. That is just it makes nice memory, but at the same time, it just, when you put yourself there, it's just really horrifying as well at the same time.
How did you settle in Birmingham?
I mean, when just we hired a house with five of us, five friends. We were all from Iran, and we stay in the same house. And I was there for 1.5 years. Then I decided, obviously that was a big challenge as well, because I was 29 years old, 30 years old, and I was the oldest one in that, between them, but most of them young. And then some of them, they didn't know how to cook and what to cook. And then most of the time, either you go rely on fast food, or either I have to cook something, or we just try everybody to cook some whatever they can do. And it was a bit challenging to live in, because obviously the people who you are living with, they are from different cultural background, and they are not really all the same thing. Some of them, they don't want to do anything. Some of them, it was a bit challenging as well. And after that, I decided to go and to live in, just to hire a room myself in some other houses. Then I went to Handsworth Wood. From Erdington, I went to Handsworth Wood, and I stayed there for 5-6 months. I think nearly a year there. I was there as well. And then from there, I went to Kings Norton, and Kings Norton was again one of the most difficult time for me, because I just applied for a house from Birmingham City Council, and then they gave me one of those like old bungalow there. And when I got there, and all the like neighbors, normally old people living there, and they nodding their head and say, why did you come here? So why? What's wrong with it? They said, you won't be welcome here, because it's not really good area just for you, because it wasn't in that, like where I used to live in Kings Norton. It's just I was the only colored person there, and obviously I thought they are jealous. They don't want me because it's Bangalore nice street. They don't want me to be here. And I remember when I went there, and I just bought some carpet, and I hired, from carpet shop, it was 2 Asian men who came to fit the carpet for me. And just, even they haven't started yet, just they cutting the carpet, and somebody knocked the door, and I went there. It was like a bunch of teenagers, like around 15, 16, 17. They say, oh, you're going to live here? I say, yes. They say, okay, give us some money then to work for. Say, if you don't give us some money, you won't be welcome here. And then I just say, just get out, get lost, just shut the door. And then they start kicking the door, throwing the stone. And then that time actually I had a job as well in one of the school there, and I was doing my job and coming every single day. I was there for I think for 4 or 5 weeks. Every single night and days I had to struggle. The window was broken, or even one time they tried to get in and to burn the house. They had the petrol can in their hand. I had to call police every single night. So bad. Really, area was in one of the most horrifying thing I was ever. Even worse than war when I was there. At least in the war, because the enemy is in front and you are with your mate. But here you're on your own, and you think every night somebody's trying to get in and to do something to you. But it was one of the worst things really I experienced here. And from there, then I just because the police themselves, they got involved and they just called city council, he should move from here. It's not, because they just became a target for the teenagers here. It's not good. And then I went, just moved to the again Kings Norton, but to other area. But it's really nice, good area, and I've been living there since more than 15 years with the family. And my children born there, they grow up there, and then I'm happy there.
How did you find new culture?
New culture, obviously, when you you shift from one culture to other one, you have two different way of reacting to it. Either you just, insist and you just try to make like a boundary around yourself. This is what I think what so many communities done it wrongly, is that because they try to create their own community or own village. Like, for example, if they are from Pakistan, from Yemen, from Caribbean, whatever, instead of integrating with the other people, but they try to create their own boundary, their own little village in the middle of just different culture. And it's so difficult. In that case, you don't really get connected, you don't learn, you just and it's so difficult. It always will be a clash between cultures, between but for me, either or you just completely adopt it, which is I didn't prepare to do as well, because I try to get the best one from both culture. If I could like so many nice good thing here, if you can adopt those, and obviously those like emotional family relation and all the connection or respect from the Eastern culture, if you can keep them as well, the combination of both would be perfect thing to do, rather than either resisting completely and or just completely adopting and forget yours. But if you can mix both of them, that would be just and pick the best one of both, that would be just a perfect combination.
How did you find communication with the people?
The thing I remember, I remember when I went to English classes, one of my teacher, she told us, in this country, never ever be the first person to go to talk to anybody. They don't like it. That was something in my head. So, oh my God, because it's completely, that was opposite of my own culture or approach. Because in Iran, it doesn't matter. Even you go just sitting in a taxi, you just start communication. Oh, where you from? What you do? What's your job? Anywhere you go, the people actually communicate, and always will find some subject to talk about. Then if you go here, just when I just arrived here, when I was in a school, lots of teachers telling me, don't go talk to anybody here. They don't like it. Don't approach anybody. They think, oh, you are, maybe abnormal, or you are bagger. You just want to do something. And I found it so difficult, because I'm a kind of person who always want to communicate, want just to talk to people. But slowly, just I found it, because maybe I thought it's easier to communicate with like Asian people here first, because it's not far, from being from Middle East, and like lots of people from Pakistan, India, Yemen. I thought they are much more, welcoming if you communicate with them. But obviously, when I just, later on, I found lots of friends from different, just like from different communities, and I didn't find any problem to communicate with them. But and I get the point from those like teachers telling you those, but there are some people they don't like it, but it doesn't mean generally you should not. If you want something, is because you should prepare to go and just to say hello and to be nice to other people. I'm sure it will be a way to communicate, to make that communication going as well.
What do you think about Birmingham now?
Oh, Birmingham is now obviously became my home city, second home city now, and I cannot leave it really, go and live elsewhere. Shiraz always will be my first, and also because I lived in Isfahan for 5 years. Isfahan somehow became my, maybe third home city now. But Birmingham, obviously, because I've been nearly 20 years here, and it's become my, second home city. But for my children, even the first home city, because they're born here, they grow up here. And I know some people found it a bit like quiet, and I know, like, for example, in case of art, is like a dead city, really. Is nothing much happening here, and it's not a best place for artists or to live here as an artist. But I try, I know like lots of opportunities in London or even in Oxford or Manchester or the other cities, but not in Birmingham. But I decided, I had so many times, I had the option during those 20 years and so many suggestions, even just to go to live in London or elsewhere, because for artists, you need to be there on like art scene and in public eyes for the art galleries and those things. But I couldn't leave it. I couldn't leave Birmingham and go and just to move to London or any other place. And I thought, oh, I do my art here, but I try to get just to get out internationally, which I did. And after like having so many exhibitions in like different museum and galleries here in around the UK, now I'm just managed to go out and to exhibit in different countries. And I decided to stay in Birmingham to produce my art here in Birmingham, but I just just take them out to other countries and just go and come back and live here again.
What makes a Burmese?
It's kind of funny because Bromie, to me, if you're really born in Birmingham and you have that Bromie accent, then you are Bromie. Like, for example, my children, because they're born here, they grow up here. Whenever they go, they ask them, "Are you Bromie?" They are Bromie. But because I actually just moved here, I don't have that accent. I don't consider myself as a Bromie, but my children, yes. I think mainly the accent is just, you can consider somebody Bromie if they have Bromie accent, or they're born here and they have that Bromie accent. And I think my children are Bromie, but not myself.
What's your relationship with Iran now?
Iran, still my home country. Still my heart is there, really. I've been here for many years, and I feel, I'm British officially, as much as I am Iranian or Persian. But maybe for my children, because they're born here, they grow up here, and all the memory and everything actually built here in this country, they have a different feeling. But for me, I still, see Iran as a homeland, as a, just my country, my heart, like I've still my house there, just my family is still there, and still my city Shiraz, I go there, lots of big gardens and like vineyards, you go there just to pick grapes, fruits and everything, and the weather hot and lots of historic monuments. And I cannot, particularly as an artist, because you have the sensation is stronger than normal people, and I can never ever forget my home country or my own city. But still I love it as a home, really. Yeah, it just I keep going every summertime. I go there and even just for a short period of time. And also I just try to encourage my children. I take them every year to keep that like connection with their root and culture as well. And because for them is important as well. And because yeah, they're born here, but it doesn't make them just to leave completely their own roots. And otherwise they will be like displacement, because if they don't know, because if whatever they do, because of the color of the lots of just racism around, lots of things around as well. But if they disconnect themselves from their roots and not being accepted here as well, that they emotionally or psychologically they will be really disturbed and damaged. And this is just nice always just to take them there and say, okay, this is your maybe if you're not your own home city but your father's land or mother's land, and it's there, and then you can keep going and coming, and not to forget the language or not to forget just the culture. But obviously my children, when they go there, same as I have like very strong accent in my English, but they have a strong accent in their Persian as well. When they go there, they consider them as a like foreign people who speak Persian, because so many words they cannot pronounce properly or they don't understand it properly. But still, I try to encourage them to make that connection, keep going, just to their homeland and country, to go to Iran and to Shiraz and come back every summertime.
Can you tell us more about your family?
Oh, my family, I mean, most of my relatives, I'm the only person who living in England. Most of my relatives, like my mom, my sisters, all the cousins, they all live in Iran and in Shiraz in the same place. But, me and my own family, I've got 3 children, and my daughter, she just finished her master's degrees a couple of years ago in Oxford University, and then she stayed there and she got married, and she just had a job there as well. She's working there. The other one is 18, and he just finished his college, and we just try to now I just put him in one private course doing gas engineering. He's 18, and the third one is 13 years old. Obviously, he's in high school, in a Catholic school, and doing just his education there.
Can you tell us more about your art practice?
Yep, I mean, when you come into different country, obviously, as an artist, you can start working and to be a normal artist, the same as millions of other artists around. And then obviously you wouldn't, the same as any other profession, you have to work very hard, because when you've done all your education in art, then it's on your own. You decide what is art, what can I actually produce or put in the public views, and what I consider as an art right now. That it makes it a bit just hard for artists to be unique, to be creative, to do something which has never been done, and then to reach higher level in art market even. And then it was a big massive challenge for myself. And then because my art from the beginning, probably because I'm just thinking of my homeland, and you get homesick, you get just talk about culture, then you think about how can I just my art be different to represent me as somebody from different countries coming and living here and producing different art. Sometimes to be different obviously is so difficult for artists, because some people they don't used to see this kind of thing. But on the other hand, because it's different and it's creative and it's unique, so many people like it, and you get more attraction. Maybe probably it was one of the reasons why my art get just picked by many art buyers and made up by galleries and museums. And then it was recently I just decided, because what is happening around us right now, to create a body of work, and I call them desensitized. And because we just all somehow get desensitized, we don't see like one time when I was teenager, it was war in the Middle East, and I thought, okay, I'm coming here and live in peace and no war, not memory of those that actually lost or of the war. But right now, you cannot tell, where is the war? War is here as well, like happening in London, happening in, just in Manchester, happening in, Germany, in France, everywhere. Now it's just even just the face of war is changed. It's not like a classic thing to say the enemy is in that line, we are in this line, but and war is everywhere, and this is what I thought, because we just somehow been like dehumanized and desensitized and whatever, we lost that sensation as a human being. But how come on the air somebody's, for example, even born here as a teenager, go there to a concert just to blow themselves up, to kill just innocent people? What makes them to have, just to do this kind of thing? And this is really got to my mind, and this is why I started to create a body of work. I call them desensitized. But the same thing, like if you're in army, you obviously been trained to kill. Is not only just, it's not easy thing. Or as a pilot, you go there and drop the bomb in the like civilian, just so many people die. And as a person, as a human being, you think about it, how come on the earth you don't have no feeling? You're dropping that bomb, how many people gonna be die? That kind of thing is just because I've been in the war myself as a teenager, as a boy soldier. Now this is why I decided to create this body of work and to do with that. And just you see, like human being being turned to a piece of machinery. They are like a piece of machines, mechanical thing, because they can be, human being can be programmed, can be told, or you go there and you do this, you blow themselves up, or you go there and just drop the bomb or something. But it's all the same thing. And it's just is a shame, really. And I thought, if somebody want to see what is happening in our time, like 200, 300 years later, but some kind of art, it has to represent what is happening right now. And so I thought that body of work which I'm creating to represent that the period we are living right now for the future, maybe generation, and to see at least what is happening in, because we cannot take the way the fear, just in our society. You think about it, and you get really, if you're an artist, you feel it more, and then you get, just more like the sensational and thinking about the human being, and then sometimes say that is really shame what's happening to human being right now.
What's your message for immigrant in Birmingham?
For the newcomer or new arrival, but I think, as I said, particularly from the Muslim countries, particularly the younger generation, if they're coming from, like anybody from that younger generation, they're coming to live here, the first thing they should a little bit know about the culture, need to know about the religion, about their background and everything. And even if they don't know anything, when they come here, they don't expect, obviously, is that they're living in different country, different culture. And they should prepare to adopt, to integrate, to talk, to communicate, to learn, and to exchange the idea, to even just culture, food, and to be nice, really. Just that is important, because if you resist, if you see everyone as, like infidel, out, just like non-Muslim or whatever, there is no point. If in that case, it is better to go either to like other Islamic country or stay there. But here obviously is different country, and everyone, to me, every single person from every single culture or country, they have something to offer, and you can learn from them. And if you open your mind and you open your heart and you go there, obviously they would welcome you. And you go, and without any prejudgment or without any just anything, you go there and you will learn from them. And you just, by just communication, by integration, by, like so many things it can be happen, and then in that case, you give and take, and this would be good, beneficial both for for the communities, for both for anybody as individual, and also for the society in all, because in a stuff like living next together and without knowing anything about each other, particularly what's happening in so many communities we have right now. But I don't think they do understand each other, because they always, there are lots of boundaries, lots of like barriers, and they don't cross it. They don't go like black people, they don't know much about like white or Muslim, they don't know anything about much about them, because the lack of communication and integration. And to me, anybody's come here, they have to come here with open mind and open heart to everybody, and go and communicate and integrate, and be just prepared to learn and give and take, really.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're most welcome, and I hope all the best for your future as well.
Thank you.